believe the 11th of August. Could be wrong, could be the 12th. Sometimes I have to look at the calendar to find the date. Um, I woke up this morning and did a video that one of my videos now on YouTube got flagged and taken down. And at first I was upset because I figured, ah, fuck, here we go again, because I just got through that with TikTok. But what I realized is that I have been bitching at heaven to show me that what I have done, that I've been successful in what I needed to achieve. And this, I believe, is an example of what heaven was showing me. Because involved with all of this, years and years and years ago, when I first started to get involved with this and focused on it and all of that, I was told that I had to get their undivided attention, that I needed them to focus on me and have their undivided attention. And I obviously have that now. You know, look at what I just went through with TikTok. Now it's happening on YouTube. This group obsessively watches every single thing I do and say. Not just online, but in real life. I have a fucking group of people watching me come and go from my house. And I might have people out in public. I don't pay much attention to it. So if it's there, I don't care. You know, years ago, my therapist asked me how it is that I deal with it. And I told her that how I look at it, what I tell myself is that it's just paparazzi. They're just fans focused on me, you know, watching my every move. And so that's how I get through it. I just kind of tell myself that. The reason why I needed their undivided attention, and I needed them to watch everything that I do and say, is because they have to be told. I have said this repeatedly throughout the years. I told Doug Mesner this constantly. They are my target audience. They are my target audience and always have been. It is most important that they hear what I have to say. And the reason why that's important is because there can't be any plausible deniability. It doesn't make any difference if they believe it. It doesn't make any difference if they understand it. It doesn't make any difference whether or not they accept it. It's their game. That's what they do. They present their shit out there. And then when it happens, they basically figure that they're off the hook because they said it was going to happen. And it's kind of their mind fuck shit. That's kind of the kind of stuff that Aquino told me that they do. And it doesn't work that way. Not in real life. But I needed them to be completely focused. The reason why Aquino, I think, became afraid of me is because I'm something they've never had before. I'm demanding that they fucking sacrifice me. That's what it is. From the very beginning, I needed to make myself enough of a threat to where they would stand up and strike me down. Neil Gross hasn't arrested anybody because Neil Gross is helping protect them. But this is beyond Neil Gross now. There's more shit going on than anybody, that I even realize. That's the reason why they want to shut all this stuff down. is because, I didn't do shit to Ricky Chaddick. I've been trying to get it investigated. If I was the one involved with Ricky Chaddick, do you really think I would take them to, I seem to have all the bad guys today, which is fine because it is like I said, you guys obsessively watch everything I do and say. Everything I do and say. You would not even known who I was had I not presented myself. And you won't listen to what I have to say. Right now, today, we're getting hit with 4 coronal mass injections. They're saying that it could affect, The thing about it is, I don't shadow ban you guys. I'm just not going to argue with you. It is, again, you guys just make my point. You guys are obsessed with me. You are obsessed with me, and you dance around and brag about the shit that you do. Your utilities are gone. Well, I know that that's a game. I know that that's the game that's being played now. It just shows what is happening as a whole. That you guys do this as a group and you don't realize that when you get together and you ban up on me, like you are now, it just proves my point. I only have 7 people in here and it seems to be all of you. Fuck Satanists. I don't like Luciferians. That's who I'm fighting. Your little Satanist bullshit, you just want to be people who never fucking fit into society. And you want to feel good about doing whatever you want to do, and you're easily led. That's what a Satanist is. That's not who I'm fighting. They're part of it, but they're the peripheral, the least important part. That's the reason why Doug Mesner doesn't even admit to being a Satanist. He says he's an atheist. I'm not interested in Satanists. I could give a fuck less about Satanists. It's Luciferians that I'm focused on. And all of this child trafficking bullshit is part of a Luciferian agenda. And that's how it works. You guys are just kind of freaks, Sunday morning, 10:15 in the morning, and what, do you just sit at your computers and wait for me to come on? Because that's what it seems like to me. That's what it seems like to me. And you guys sit in the shadows and think that you are all that, I don't even know who this Jordan Riswow is. And you're an idiot, dude. You're an idiot. I talk about an 11-year-old who got abducted and murdered. You're sure the fuck I am. And I sit in my bathtub because I know you guys hate my bathtub videos. I hate them at the thing. I hate it. But I also know that Thomas dotes on Thomas is in here, I'm sure. Watches every fucking thing I do. It's not like I can't figure out the shit that was going on. Oh God, you're a pain in my ass. There you go. You're not banned, you just timed out. Because I'm sure that eventually you'll jump in on another account. That's what ends up happening. This whole child trafficking thing needs to be investigated. My parents need to be investigated. That's the reason why they want to put it off on me. But Ricky Chaddick was seen with someone, a man and a woman, in a white Cadillac. I don't have a white Cadillac. And obviously I don't have a woman, but my dad did. And so they want to make this all go away. They want to shut me up. It all goes back to Ricky Chaddick. That's why they're fighting so hard now. Because they can't do what they did with Jacob Wetterling to Ricky Chaddick. It won't work this time. You know? It won't work this time. You can't play the same game twice. So, unless they're really stupid. So maybe in 2 weeks, they'll come up and obviously suddenly solve this cold case that they've never been able to solve before, you know? And maybe they think that it's going to matter. But again, they're afraid that the power grids are going to go down. They're afraid of the satellites. They're afraid of the people in the space station. Because the shit that the sun just hit us with that hasn't hit yet, the X flare, there were 3 M flares and 1 X flare. And the X flare is what they're afraid of. It was huge. And so, and if it doesn't happen this time, it's only a matter of time. You know, it's not like the sun is getting any better. They have to know what I'm talking about. They have to know that the darkness is right in front of them. They dance around and act within, like they dance around like they have impunity, like they can't be held accountable for it. And they're fighting to protect their secrets in a world that is about ready to fall apart. It's completely ready to fall apart. When we lose the power grid, it's over. It's over. You know, other than the freaks who have been preparing for it forever. And even then, civilization is about ready to collapse. In fact, it is collapsing everywhere. Fuck, the UK is on fire, you know? So this is what's going to end up happening. I've said before, death is coming. There is no way to thwart it. There's no way to get past it. We're all on a spiritual part, you know? And there's, again, I never believed that these people would be investigated and have to go to court and then be incarcerated and all of that. It's not going to work that way. There's too many of them that are too guilty, and they're protected by the world. They own the world, which is why heaven is burning the world up. Just burning the fuck out of us, you know? And there's no way to stop it. There's no way to stop it. And so Thomas can dance around and be afraid that the shit's going to be investigated, but it's already being investigated. People have been watching their group. That's the whole thing. People have been watching their group since I've gotten involved with this. It's what they've done. I don't watch any of their shit. I barely read their emails because novella after novella after novella after novella, and it's all full of bullshit, and it's always just Thomas Schoenberger emails me over and over and over, and I don't even read it because his shit just whatever. If others because I forward the shit, that's what I end up doing. I reply, but then I add everyone and blind carbon copy a bunch of fucking investigators and law enforcement that are all looking into this as well, so they can read the shit. That's what I do. That's what I've always done. You know, it's just that I learned after the gas station that I couldn't just stop with Neil Gross. I had to go way beyond Neil Gross because he was their gatekeeper, obviously, you know, obviously. And the shit is so obvious that if you look away, you make the choice to look away. That's the thing. If you look away, you make the choice to look away because it's so obvious. The shit that's happening to me is not any different than what they did to, like, Isaac. That's why Isaac was hiding in his fucking bedroom for so long at the very end. Because this is the shit they were doing. It's just that this has been my whole life, you know? They think isolating me is going to destroy me. But I've spent most of my life kind of isolated. When I was married, that was the only time I was ever lonely, you know, is when I was married, because he was off doing all the shit he was doing and I was home alone. And that was the only time I felt lonely. When I went out to Seattle, fuck, I was great. I was totally didn't know anybody, you know? When I came back here, I know that what I'm doing in town with those signs in the front of my house get a lot of attention. I see people stopping and taking pictures of that shit all the time, which means that they're watching the videos. And that's great, you know? That's great, because the stuff needs to be looked at with a critical eye. The gas station in Erlen. The official report says one explosion that demolished the place, but those aren't the facts. So it sounds great for that, but when you consider that there were 2 explosions 9.5 minutes apart, and I've gone on and on and on in detail the shit the issues that were going on, it's people can see that there was a cover-up. Obviously, there's a cover-up. You know, it's all being played out in the open. That's, I think, the reason why God put me in so many situations with all of this, because it goes beyond coincidental, you know. And since I'm not in control of it, I can only imagine in my life that it is God. For them, all of their shit is just, they all work in coordination with each other. That's the issue that they don't like. They're all a group. You know, they're all one big group, and they all work in coordination with each other. And a lot of times they dance around because they think people are too stupid to see it, you know? The thing about where I'm at with their attacks is that I have to be cover up for a gas station. Erling, Iowa, Earling, Iowa. Type in Erling, Iowa gas station explosion and you'll get everything. You know, everything. Not just my stuff, but all the other stuff too. You know, they were trying to shut. I think the catalyst was my sister bought the house right across the street. Because I had lived where I had lived for 3 years, at least over 2, almost 3. And as far as their attacks and their stalking and the shit, they're breaking into my house all the fucking time, you know, that I have to allow them to do what they're going to do. That's the reason why the cavalry is not going to come in and save me. Heaven is not going to save me. What I get told is it's going to be awful, but in the end, it'll be worth it. And so, because what ends up happening is the moment after they take their last breath, all of the shit that they've done to me gets returned to them in the darkness. That's what ends up happening. And then some. A lot of then some. There's a lot more, you know. But I had to let them do everything that they're doing to me. That's the reason why they have tried to take me out more than once, over and over and over, probably more times than I'm even aware of. And God doesn't allow it, heaven doesn't allow it to happen. And the reason why is because all of those things are being put into the darkness and waiting for them. And all I need to do is what I was told. I need to stand up and make them strike me down. And everything that they do, even though a lot of it has failed, it all counts. It all counts. And it's all going into the dark. That's the reason why it sucks. But this cup is not going to be taken from my lips because it was all part of it. And I knew it was all part of it before I ever did anything. And just realize, do not let their actions compel you into the dark. And doing shit. The whole thing about it is that the gamma radiation that is feeding us is making everybody, it's having an effect on everything. The whole planet. Vegetation, animal life, people, all of this gamma radiation and the heat from the sun that we're being inundated with because we have no, the magnetic poles are getting to switch. So at this moment in time, we don't have much of a magnetic field to protect us with. And it's compelling people to the dark. They are compelling people to the dark. And you have to fight that. You know, you have to fight that. And I know it is not easy because their shit is terrible. And they go out of their way and they're a fucking army of them. So they're just focused 24/7 on fucking things. But you gotta just have faith and just keep going on, knowing that what they're doing is going to be returned to them in the end. Do not do anything that puts your soul at risk. That's basically, I can't say it any better than that. Don't do anything that puts your soul at risk. And the whole thing about it is that they are so focused on me. It's kind of like this time, because I was told a long time ago that in all of this, I'm kind of like the Pied Piper. I get them to bind themselves to me. All of their evil shit, all of their evil intent, all of their evil shit that they focus on me just binds them to me. You know? You can be atheist. That's the thing that I have about atheists. The issue that I have with atheists is that I understand the argument about the Bible. Trust me, I understand all the contradictions and all of that. I understand. What I have never gotten from even one atheist in my 57 years is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The shit that Jesus Christ told us, what exactly is your argument with any of that? Anything that he reportedly said. I'm not talking about the rest of the Bible. I'm not talking about Moses. I'm not talking about the prophets. I'm not talking about Abraham or Noah or the Jonah, the dude in the whale, and all of that. I understand because editing makes a big difference. It's the teachings of Jesus Christ. How he told us to live the word. That's the whole thing. It makes sense to me. You know, it makes sense to me. Do I believe that there is a God hanging out in the clouds and all of that? No. Because I believe that heaven is inside of us and all around us. You know, I think that that's how it works, is that a lot of it is energy focus. That's what I was taught by Michael Aquino and his group at Offutt Air Force Base when I was being trained as a kid. How do I know that God exists? Because I knew without a doubt in my mind that the devil fucking existed and that demons existed. Because I watched them, you know? And abandon your communism. People throw those words around, and I don't think they even know communism, Marxism. The issue that I'm watching in the world is fascism. And I'm watching the fascism start to crumble everywhere. That's the reason why all of these dictator people are starting to act crazy, because they're losing control. They're losing control. And they're not going to be able to maintain control. Any of our world leaders, not a one of our world leaders, is going to maintain control. And you can believe and do whatever the hell you want. You can, you know, do whatever the hell you want. Believe whatever you want. You don't want to believe there's a God, okay? Believe there's nothing on the other side after you take your last breath, okay? Go ahead, you know? You can do whatever the fuck you want with abandon and there's no consequences. If you want to believe that, you know, but it is as delusional as telling yourself that you can jump off a tall building and then fly. It's the same thing, you know? A lot of what I understand about the target individualist, it so many people find themselves on it. I have always been on it because of what I grew up with. And then I went out of my way. You know, I knew what was going to happen when I started doing what I was doing, trying to get my family investigated and all of that. I didn't, obviously, I didn't know the extent, but I had a good idea what was going to happen. It wasn't like I didn't grow up with these people, that I wasn't around these people my whole life, that I wasn't trained by these people. The difference between me, though, and most people is that this group did not pledge their souls to those people. And they did to me as a child. That's why it's funny, because they keep trying to play games with me, but they do not realize that the darkness already owns their essence. Because that's what your soul is your essence. And the darkness has completely bound to it. Completely bound to it. There's nothing, you know. But I did bring some show and tell, because I know people watch this after on. So I did bring some show and tell. James Campbell, dude, David's live stream is for serious talks about the SRA and asylum. Is the other way, buddy. I don't understand it. I don't understand that sentence at all. Okay. I did not make this top part. It came in to a place and they were going to get rid of it because they knew that no one would take it as a blanket. So I brought it home and quilted it onto this fabric right there. So in a way, it's kind of like these are like flowers on that. That's what I was trying to do. And I quilted it on wool. And so this blanket is fairly heavy. It's not pretty, but someone took a lot of time. Even though you could tell that they were new and they didn't really know what they were doing, they took a lot of time to make, because they spent a lot of time on this, and I figured it would be a shame to waste it. So I quilted this, and then a friend of mine is connected to some people, and so they're gonna donate it to a school, so that when an autistic child is having problems, this makes a great weighted blanket. It's really weighted, and it's not pretty. It didn't, I mean, it took a while for this because I had to all I did was quilt it. I just put it together. But you have to understand, Owen happened in the middle of it. I was also working on a quilt for Owen, and that kind of stopped, obviously. And so, but my point is with all of this is that this is all of this crap that I'm dealing with that you guys see on the videos and the sign outside and all of that. I know people think that I'm dealing with this on a constant 24 basis, day after day after day. And there are days that take up way more time. But I have a life, you know? I have been disabled my whole entire adult life. So I have had to learn yeah, I figured that that blanket will be great for an autistic kid. And one of the cool things about it is that this was actually a mistake of quilting. This is where I started. So you see all this fabric up here? This is all fabric. So you can see the fabric on the top. However, dumbass that I am, I don't have enough fabric on the bottom of it. That's why I pull it off. So now I'm going to, it's just this row here, but I figured that it will stick up. Once I get the binding gets, these things will stick up. And so it'll give it a different look and different. So if a kid wants these little circle things up by their face, or if they just want the flowers up by their face. And so it's just, I thought it was a shame to get rid of those round pillow things when someone spent so much time on it. And so with my disability, the thing about it is that working is something I've tried to go to work, and the anxiety is awful, first of all, and especially social anxiety. That's why I'm just, even though I can be very social, I am much more comfortable being by myself. That it's just how I grew up, and so especially crowds. I don't deal well with crowds, and being out and about, and plus, the time that I tried to work, they would make it so hard on me. They would break into my house. They would, they would do whatever the fuck they could do to me to actually cause me so much stress that it just wasn't worth it. And you can make so much extra, but fuck, I don't even come close to that. I don't even come close to it. And even when I did work, when I did my taxes, I ended up getting money back. Even though I didn't pay taxes, I ended up getting a little bit back. It was only like $40, but still, I just, the finances that's the reason why they're fucking me with my utilities, because they know. But again, I have to have faith. Everything that they have done to me has backfired on them, or hasn't worked. And so, and if it does work this time and something happens, then I just have to realize that God is trying to compel it, And they want to screw me any way they possibly can. That's the reason why I went to Omaha. I have no idea how long that shower was running like it was. And I dry off in the shower. I know that shower wasn't running when I left. But that's the stupid shit, but what am I going to do? Who do you call? Oh, well, someone broke into my house and turned my shower on. There's no one I can call, And it's stupid shit like that. And they're very good at skirting. They know the laws. That's the reason why they like to play with protection orders. I've already done that. The only reason why they don't come at me with that now is because I have fucking then Chief of Police Omaha, Derek Yamada, for an hour and a half sitting in my living room. It's a little over an hour and a half, And so, and then the other cop that showed up, and then the very person that they were trying to set me up, ended up at my door. And I have all that on fucking tape. That's the reason why they don't use that shit on me. Because I have that. Again, it was a fluke that I ended up keeping that. But the conversation with Yamada was so bizarre. I wanted to go back and listen to it. Because I just... how sometimes you have conversations with people and you can't even believe what's being said? And it's like your brain is having a hard time dealing with it. I do not know who Lana Del Rey is. I don't really listen to anything. I I sew because it distracts me, and the sound ends up relaxing me. But last week, I'm not kidding, this shit is making me sick. Last week, I spent a lot of time in bed. A lot of time in bed. I'm exhausted. I don't feel well. They make it hard to sleep at night. I do. I mean, I sleep. But if I get up to pee, it takes me a bit to go back to sleep because the shit is so loud and it makes your bones hurt. That's what ends up happening is that my bones, the insides, they've done stuff to me before where it felt like I could feel all of my internal organs, especially when they turn that shit on me. That I should have known that something was wrong because right before I started losing weight, because I went through 2 months where they were jamming at me. I was waking up in the morning, I was completely swollen. And I lost 100 pounds in 2 months. And then, like I said, someone told me to go look for rocks around my yard. And I ended up finding 12 rocks, great big rocks or pieces of concrete that were not there before. And I knew my yard. It's not like I didn't have to mow it all the time. And they were in the ground and looked like they had always been there. And they had it had this black metallic looking mold on the tops of every, that's the similarity between every piece, the rocks and the pieces of concrete, is it had this weird metallic looking mold on all of it. And but right before I started losing weight, there was a time where I was letting the dogs in and I actually passed out for the first time ever in my entire fucking life. I'd never passed out before. And I know I passed out because I woke up on the fucking floor. And then there was, right after that, I was dealing with one of them who had reached out to me and she wanted to be on the phone with me all night long. And I told her, why? I'm just going to sleep. And I should have known something was up. And Harris Walls 2024. I don't think that many people are going to vote for the revenge tour. I just don't. I did when it was Biden. I don't anymore. I think that everything has changed dramatically and drastically, for better or worse. I can't say. Oh, she is. Either way, we're fucking screwed. Either way, in America, we are screwed. I'm probably not voting. That it sucks. I've only done that twice in my adult life. And this will be the third time, I guess the third time. I don't even give a shit. Who cares? I don't like the people who are behind Trump. I don't like the fascism, I don't like that. But the people with Harris and all of that, we're screwed. We're screwed. It doesn't make any difference. I mean, it doesn't, what do I vote for? This rock in my hand or this rock in my hand? Because they're both going to drag us down. No, Trump is not the best of the two. Maybe he is, and that's sad. That's sad, That's sad. That is a sad take on America when he's the best, But I don't much get into politics. I probably don't. It would be the same vote. The last time when Donald Trump ran with Hillary, ran against Hillary, I didn't vote then either. Because I decided I didn't hate my fellow man to vote for either one. And I don't think it, personally, I don't even think that we're going to even reach the point to November. I think that things are starting to fall down so freaking hard. I will be surprised if civilization, especially in America, is going to where we're able to do it. I just don't think, yeah, they're driving me insane. You guys go lay down. Go lay down. I'll be done in a little bit. Give me 20 minutes. And so, I just don't, I'll be surprised, you know, because they're already talking about, this shit could be frying the power grids here in a day or two, you know? And if it doesn't happen this time, the sun's only getting worse. The sun's only getting worse. And the power grids fail, we're back into the fucking dark ages. And that's what's going to end up happening. And it's going to end up being chaos, because it's already chaos. We are already in chaos. It just hasn't gotten to the point where it's becoming tolerable, because we seem to be able to handle a lot of it. But no one's going to be able to handle this. There's no politician. There's no world leader, you know? And when it comes down to world leaders, fuck. They're figuring that Putin is getting ready to drop a nuclear bomb. Like, what harm could that fucking do, you know? And there's a nuclear power plant where they're all fighting now, where Russia has just left and Putin ordered out an evacuation. Because you can say whatever you want, but they're all fucking narcissists. They're all power hungry. Trump is power hungry. Kamala Harris, power hungry. Putin, power hungry. No, don't want to show my dogs. Sorry. They're like kids. I just don't want, no. But, they're all vying for the one. Our world leaders. They all want to be the one. And they don't have any allegiance to anybody but themselves and those people who keep them in power. And that goes for all of them. All of them. Trump, his group, Camilla, her group, the dude in Canada, the UK, you know, all of them. China, Russia, Ukraine, all of them. All of them. That's, you know, oh, they threaten to kill my dogs all the time. This Andy Villa threatened, that's why I won't show. And I just got an email from Thomas that I woke up to last night at like early in the morning. When I got up to pee, I checked my phone. And, oh my God, I feel like I'm dealing with an insane asylum, you know? And you can't pin them down. It's not, they have this mentality to where if you pin them down on one thing, they just switch it to something else. And they're always trying to put you on defensive. And I'm not on defensive. I think the dude is a bad guy. I think he needs to be investigated. But I also realized that what I started off to do, I have achieved. These people, oh fuck, not only have they threatened to hurt my dogs, when I was in Erling, someone came in and kicked the shit out of one of my dogs. It took me about 2.5 months to get her calmed down, to come from the second floor down. For 2.5 months, I had to carry her, and she's 85 pounds. I had to carry her downstairs. Because if I didn't have the food ready or the door open for her to go outside and I put her down, she was so terrified of what happened to her downstairs that she'd run back upstairs and hide. And I'd have to go find her. It was traumatizing. No, I don't have a gun. Because I wouldn't shoot anybody. That's the issue. I would pause. I know I would pause. And they say that people are murdered by their own guns. And that's probably, you know, we're so gun happy now. Maybe they'll show up with a gun, but I figure if they haven't shown up with a gun yet, they play all this goddamn bullshit that they're in the fucking shadows, you know? Oh, fuck. I'm lucky I don't have kids. because I'm not the only one who has dealt with this bullshit. This is a government thing, because there are too many people who have gone through what I went through. And they target people's kids. Fuck, they don't give a shit about my dogs. They target people's kids. They'll target anybody and anything. They try to neutralize their target any way they can. And so, who and how? I don't know who. They got into my fucking house. They get in my house all the time. You know? Cameras do not stop them. From what I understand, fuck, security systems don't stop. You know? Yeah, the Isaac Cappy video where he said he was, every time he said he wasn't suicidal, every time he said he wasn't suicidal, you could hear someone in the background herding his dogs. That was Isaac Cappy on that Periscope thing. And then the very next day, so what went from I'm not suicidal, and he didn't seem suicidal in the video, to the very next day he throws himself off of a bridge. Does that even make any sense? No, it doesn't make any sense. The fact that Phoenix Enigma, who's supposed to have done this incredible investigation, drove under an overpass. There was nothing there. There were no cops. There was nothing there. He didn't, according to him, he didn't know Isaac Cappy, but he knows the exact minute he drove under that underpass. But since I've gotten involved, now it has switched. You know, now it has switched to where he and Daniel Dowd were on the bridge and they're heroes because they were trying to get him to stop him from jumping. That's where the conversation, that's where the whole thing is switched now. And so it was forced and unnatural. Someone was in that room with him. Someone was obviously hurting his dog. You know, because they only hurt his dog when he said he wasn't suicidal. You know? That's the reason why he was so cryptic. You know, calling himself Judas and all of that other shit. You know? It was just interesting. You know? It was talent. And now you can get the deluxe 2-set CD on everything Isaac Cappy suicide. All you have to do is contact him. For $100, they have a 2-set CD. When have you ever heard of a suicide having a deluxe 2 CD set that you can buy for $100? It's everything. Autopsy photos, the police, the phone calls, everything else, you know? You know, it doesn't make any sense. It does make sense, you know. They don't use tunnels to traffic kids, you know. They don't use tunnels. They have everyone looking for these fucking tunnels. They don't have to do it in tunnels. They can do it right out in front of people. Nobody fucking notices. And if they do notice, they don't give a shit, you know. And if there is any better example, there are people on TikTok who have filmed videos where you see an adult abducting a kid and taking a kid into an alleyway. It's all set up, but they film people. And you want to know what the majority of them do? They just keep walking and going about their fucking business. You know? They're in the schools. What do you think the satanic temple's satanic after-school daycare bullshit is? You know? They're already in the schools. They've been in the schools for a long time. It's too enmeshed. There's no way to actually, God has to fix this. And so what God is doing is using the sun, and it's just going to fry everything. So society will come down. Yeah, so am I, child trafficking survivor. You know, the majority don't survive. And I'm a total anomaly because most dudes who go through what I go through end up either dead or in jail. My brother ended up in jail all through his life and then ended up dead. You know, that's what ends up happening with adults. And so people don't give a shit about kids, you know? They care about the unborn. Oh, they care. I was a perfect example. Can't have any abortions, but fuck your children in free school lunch. If they can't afford free school lunch, they fucking starve. That's the way it fucking works. So it's about the kids? Really? You know? You're not going to feed them when they're alive. You're not going to help them when they're alive. But the mothers who want to have abortions, that's what you're going to stop. That's all about control. That's about control. It's not about the kids. It's never been about the kids. And people don't give a shit about anybody but their own kids. And a lot of them don't even, you know. We live in bad times right now. And heaven needs to intervene. As a gay guy and as a man, I do not get involved with the whole abortion issue. But this is what I will say. I have known 5 women in my life who have had abortions. One of them was a prostitute and she used it for birth control. So I don't count her. But 4 women, the 4 other women that I know who had an abortion, it completely fucked them up emotionally and psychologically. It fucked them up. They never got over it. It was a cloud on their life. So therefore, you know, I'm just not going to say. Do I think that a 10-year-old that gets raped by their whoever should be forced to have that kid? No, I don't. No, I don't. But on the other hand, sex sells. So we have sexualized everything and everyone, objectified everything, you know? So that's the problem with these Luciferians. They just want to fuck everything. That's the issue that I have with all of these binary, non-binary, all of that bullshit. It's all pretty much based on who you fuck. That's the only thing that makes a gay person a gay person. You have to define who you fuck. I find that my life is so much more, and especially since I've been celibate because of my faith now, you know, because when it comes down to the whole gay issue, I'm not going to say one way or the other, but I will tell you I'm celibate because I don't want to take the chance. You know, personally, I don't want to take the chance. And I don't want to be in another relationship. Did that for 20 years, didn't like it. That's the whole thing is that do I identify with gay? Well, being gay means that I identify with who I'm, you know, kids being at pride parades is gross. Yes. I agree. You know, watching people perform, that's fine. Watching someone twerk their naked ass on a fucking street, walk around in a jock strap, I don't want to see that any more than I want to see it on the straight thing. It's all about sex. And, you know, I'm not straight. I'm never going to have a woman. I'm not attracted to women, but I don't see where it makes a difference. In my life, it doesn't make any difference because everything about my life right now is God and has been for a long time. It was the whole reason why that was the biggest catalyst that destroyed my relationship because I wanted out of the gay lifestyle. I won't say whether or not gay is. Jesus Christ didn't say anything either way about being gay. So I don't really kind of worry about it, but I will tell you that as a gay man, having been in the gay lifestyle for a long period of my life, it is all based on the wrong shit. youth, sex, money, drugs, partying, sex, underwear parties, foam parties, bathhouses, and I think that sucks the soul. I think it's not good. It's not good. That's why I don't do it anymore. I wanted out of it. I was getting out of it before I met my ex, but he was just coming out. So I ended up going back into it because I would have lost him, and I didn't want to lose him. And we were together 20 years, but in the end, I couldn't deal with it. I just couldn't deal with it, and I'm so much happier going out and about. I can appreciate a nice looking guy just like I can appreciate an attractive woman, but I'm not controlled by my gonads. So I don't even look at them as, and I will never get naked and jiggy with another person my entire life, ever, you know? I have gone to bathhouses. That's what destroyed my relationship because I put my foot down and said I would not go to another vacation, on another vacation that's centered around a bathhouse. What ended up happening when I went to a bathhouse is that I walked around for 8 hours because my other half wanted to get his money's worth, and when you go in, you can stay for 8 hours. So I would just walk the hallways. By the time I was done, I was exhausted. And you have to wear flip-flops because God only knows what you'll step in. And I was very lucky, but I'm 10 days in and never looking back. 10 days is the honeymoon, dude. That's when you're focused on it. But once you reach a certain point, celibacy is preferred. It is. It's preferred. And so, at least I prefer it. And because I have this group on top of me, they just took out Owen. One of my dearest friends was my brother-in-law for damn near 20 years. If I actually loved someone, why would I bring them into my life? It's not safe. It's not safe. It's not safe to bring people into my life. It's not safe for me to be too connected to anyone because it puts them at risk. That's what ends up happening because they don't directly attack me usually, ever. I'm glad you did what was best for you. Your experience is interesting. Thank you. I have a friend of mine who really wants me to write a book about the whole gay thing because I don't understand a lot of what is happening. And what I know about the gay lifestyle, especially in the 80s, is that was where they were hiding the child trafficking. It was out in the open. Because straight people didn't know anything about the fucking gay lifestyle. And the gay people, for the most part, especially at the time, were all involved. Alan Bear had so much money, he was paying everybody. That's the reason why that summer, 27, 28 gay guys committed suicide. There's a rash because they were trying to quiet everything about Franklin. C.B. Rogers was not the only one that they took out. And they hid it in the gay lifestyle. They still might be hiding it in the gay lifestyle. Straight people, all they know about the gay lifestyle, if you're involved with being in the gay lifestyle, is that you like to go and dance on the weekends and get drunk and have fun with gay guys. That's really all you know. You don't know the lifestyle, and you certainly don't know the scene behind everything. And I just think that a lot of things are being promoted in a way that deludes people into thinking evil is good and speaking out against it is bad. And that's where we're at. And I'm not going to say that being gay is evil, but I will say that I think the lifestyle more than fits the bill. You know, the more than fits the bill. And that's where I'm at. And I know it might be unpopular, but I have not been in a gay bar in I don't know how long. You know, well, since I was divorced, I haven't got done anything since I've been divorced, but it was before that, way before that, because I had become celibate way before then. Didn't want, because of what I went through, it wasn't until my therapist once told me that I was re-abusing myself having sex. And I told her, no, I'm not. I'm the top. I'm having sex. That's people want me. How is that re-abusing myself? And she pointed out to me that every time I talked about it, I either said I didn't want to be there or I got bored in the middle. And in the middle of it. And it wasn't until she said that and I started thinking about it that I realized she was right. Most of the time I didn't want to be, I so did not want to have sex a lot of times. And if I did, I got bored quickly with it. It's boring. And I didn't have any emotional connection like that. I guess being in love with someone is different. But I didn't, even my other half and I didn't even know if we were in love. I think we loved each other for a while, but the Hollywood version of being in love, I don't think we had that. And so I've been on here for an hour. I just wanted to come on to reiterate, I think it's interesting, the video that got taken down. I have this group's complete attention. They focus completely on me. They watch everything I do, everything I say. They're watching me as I leave my house. They probably follow me around town. They are 100% focused on me. So in the end, when they find themselves in the dark, there's no plausible deniability. It doesn't make any difference if they believed what I was saying or accepted what I was saying or even really understood what I was saying. They knew the shit that they were doing was fucking evil. That's where they derive their power. They like to do all this evil shit and it makes them feel powerful when they do it. But there's a consequence to that. And, they are afraid. They are. They're trying to take me down on social media everywhere. They're just trying to shut me down, shut me out. Because because all this is being investigated. Because not all in law enforcement are bad. In fact, there are some good people in law enforcement. There's some good people in the FBI. There's some good people, It's just that the way their organization is set up, those good people are chained. They're never given very much power. But things are starting to shift and to change. And this stranglehold that this group had on everything isn't that way anymore. They're starting to lose control, not just over the shit that I'm doing, but I think that they're losing control over the whole spectrum of stuff. And the one email that the guy says there's over 9,000 members doing those horrible things to kids. I don't know. There's a child trafficking as a whole. There's a huge market for it. But I will tell you, the people that I'm fighting and have been fighting, Doug Mesner, it's a small group. It's a small group. It's the people who are involved. The group that I know is involved is enough to where if you investigate all of them, like the Tara Joyce Randolphs and Sewertown and Daniel Dowd and Thomas Schoenberger and Doug Mesner and Gabe Hoffman and Craig Sawyer, if you investigate that group as a whole, you will get access to the larger stuff, because they dance around with this belief of impunity, which tells me that they don't hide anything. You know, there's probably so much shit out there to eat that's easily found, and I don't investigate. Thomas keeps saying that I'm a terrible investigator. Dude, I'm not investigating your shit. I tell people where to go look. There's a concern here. People who are inclined and have the authority to investigate need to go investigate it. I am not one of those people. Everything that I brought to the table, if I did an investigation, would get discredited, because they discredit everything I do. Thomas is constantly discrediting everything I do, everything I think, everything I say. Terry Joyce Randolph negates and discredits everything I do, everything I say, everything, they all do that, they all do that. But they're all connected, Thomas Schoenberger, Denise Mathau, Terry Joyce Randolph, they all seem like they're at odds with each other. No, they're not. None of them are really at odds. It's just part of the reality television show that they have going on to keep people distracted. And that's what needs to stop. People need to stop being distracted by the bullshit and start looking at the crux of the matter. And that's already happening. And I know that's why it's already happening, because that's why they are on top of me. They just tried to take down my TikTok account. Now they're on my YouTube account, except that the one that they just let me know was all about, and all I did was post my emails about Thomas. So I'm just going to put the shit on my blog. That's what my blog is for. So I'm just going to post the shit on my blog. That way people can go read for themselves. And I'll put his shit on there too. That's what they don't like. They dance around with impunity, and then they get mad because they expect me to do something other than what I've always done. Because I always take screenshots of it and I always show it so that everyone can see. That's what I do. That's what I've always done. So to send me shit and expect me to do anything else isn't that the whole definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again and then expecting a different result each time? I'm actually working on 2 books. For those of you who don't know, Rabbit Hole, the picture that goes with this video that I uploaded, that is my book that I have out there. I published that book in 2012. It's just and if you want to get more in depth than Rabbit Hole is on Audible. Actually, the dude that did it on Audible is now famous. He did my book for it wasn't cheap by any means. Like, it was like $5,000 for him to do it. But now he's famous. Now when he does a book, he gets 20, 30 grand for a book. He's famous now. But that's on Rabbit Hole is on Amazon. But you can also go to my name, davidshurter.com. SHURT as in Tom, ER.com. And go up above and read Confessions of an Antichrist, which is the unedited version of Rabbit Hole, for free. So I offer both. And if you want the nitty gritty, the whole fucking story, go read Confessions. And so, because that talks about the spiritual stuff too. It was just, a lot of it had to be edited out. And I'm glad they did it, because I got nominated for Book of the Year when I published Rabbit Hole. I had the little yellow sticker and everything. But Confessions is a much more detailed, but then also realize Rabbit Hole got published in 2012. So I'm almost like a completely different person now. I'm way different than what I was back then, in a lot of ways. I'm no longer married. You know, what they do to the kids is horrible. That's why it needs to be stopped. It needs to be exposed. It needs to be stopped. Because for years and years and years and years growing up, and even now as an adult sometimes, I will go to sleep and dream of children screaming. I used to do it all the time. But then I got into therapy and got into shamanism and perfected, you know, being able to direct and compartmentalize, basically. And so and lucid dreaming helps. But being able to get lucid dreaming. But I dreamt of children screaming and what was going on most of my life. And to be quite honest, it's that has compelled me to stay in this the whole time. Because I know that it hasn't stopped, that it's still happening. And I'm going to expose it. Or they're going to take me down. Either way, one or the other, you know? And they're already trying to take me down, but I'm still trying to expose it too. So that's how this works. And I just think they think doing their evil shit they can do with impunity and it won't matter. And they don't realize how much it matters. They don't realize how much it matters. They do not realize what's waiting for them, you know? And, see, I don't believe that the pizza place was real. I don't believe the pizza place was real. The shit with John Podesta and all of that, but it's also on the Republican side too. Everyone has this image that it's all Democrats, and it's not. It's not. There's just as many Republicans. In fact, more so because that's who controlled it. The only Democrat that was involved when I was a kid was Barney Frank. He was the only Democrat involved. And he was gay and running a brothel out of his fucking apartment. You know? And Barney Frank was the only Democrat that was involved when I was a kid. Otherwise, it was all Republicans. And but it doesn't make any difference. It's the system that we're fighting. It's not Democrat or Republican. It's not. What it is a group of people who are getting inordinately rich doing fucked up shit to kids that need to be stopped. And the government is involved with it and protecting them. Obviously. You know? You only need to look at the Erling, Iowa gas station explosion to see who else could have done that report and made it go the way it did. You know? There's no one else. And I saw the artwork. I just think that it was designed. This is how I look at it. All of the shit started coming out with the spirit cooking and Hillary Clinton, because the Clintons are heavily fucking involved. You know, that's talk about Democrats. Clintons were heavily fucking involved, and they were talking about John Podesta, and all of this shit started coming out. So in order to quiet that, they gave us Pizzagate. Pizzagate was a CIA thing. They gave us Pizzagate because they thought that they could put it on Pizzagate because the story was stupid. There was no basement underneath the Comet Pizza. A lot of it didn't make sense. And so they thought, okay, people are going to look at this and they're going to think, oh, well, none of this makes sense, so it must be bullshit. But that didn't happen. What ended up happening is that not only did it not quiet stuff, it fueled it. It fueled it. And so the CIA ended up having to give us QAnon. All of a sudden we had QAnon. Some anonymous dude high up in the government who did all of this cryptic shit and got all of these people focused on all of this stuff, and people didn't realize that it was the CIA. And I personally believe, because of my experience in all of this, Doug Mesner and the Satanic Temple were heavily involved with that. The group that I am fighting with this child trafficking, they were all involved with it. QAnon, Pizzagate, and QAnon, I believe, were Michael Aquino's babies because it did the same thing, or it attempted to do the same thing that the False Memory Foundation did in the 80s and 90s. Because it was the False Memory Foundation. That's where we get the two phrases, false memory and satanic panic. It comes from the False Memory Syndrome Foundation, which was a CIA thing. You know, all of these people, yes, he was head of psychological warfare. Aquino was very, very heavily involved, you know? And so I still, from my personal experience and my personal opinion, I think that Thomas Schoenberger is who they're trying to replace Michael Aquino with. He's not a replacement. Now, I know that pisses off Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, because he fancies himself. He wants everyone to look at him as the next Michael Aquino. Neither one of them compare. And the other thing is that neither one of them went through the fucking training. So they don't have a fucking clue the real shit. They know their shit, but their shit is all a bunch of games and secrets and bullshit. Whereas the real shit is the stuff that I learned as a kid, and I'm not the only one. It's not like I was the only victim of this shit. And but then we got QAnon. Because now when you start talking about child trafficking, they always bring up QAnon, and it's always brought up so that people discredit you. Because from the last thing that I heard about QAnon is they're down in Texas drinking bleach. That's the shit and they do that on purpose, so it discredits it. But spiritually, we're at judgment now. We're at the end. What people think, the darkness is not dependent upon public opinion. And so what? So the public knows. What do they think the public's gonna do? Because it's been my experience in damn near 58 years. They don't do shit. You know? They watch, they'll comment, but nothing ever gets done. There's no real movement to stop anything. You know? And those who do get neutralized and get murdered. And people don't want to set themselves up as martyrs. I did because I was promised things by heaven that I realize are going to come true. They're going to be separated from the faithful, and they're not going to be able to hurt anybody anymore, and they're going to be asleep, and they're going to do to themselves what they and their group were so willing to do to everyone else. They're going to do it to themselves in their own sleep. That's what's going to happen in the dark. That's what's going to end up happening. And you can't fall asleep in a dream. And they watch everything I say. And I just keep saying the same shit over and over and over again. And they keep dismissing it and discrediting it, and they don't believe it. And in the end, it won't make any fucking difference. Because what I'm saying is the truth. They just need to be told. That's their game. They tell people shit all the time. And then when they do it later on, it might be 20 years when they do it. They're no longer responsible because they warned everybody. That's the whole key to those Illuminati cards. That Illuminati card game, you know, I have not seen the Frazzle Jerk video and don't want to. I don't watch any of that shit. When I was a kid, nobody videotaped anything. You didn't have notes. You didn't have anything. You didn't leave anything written down. Ever. There was no trace. But this group, that's not the way they work anymore. You know? Fuck, they'll go online and fucking brag about it to each other through emails. That's how fucking stupid they are. I know they do that because they dance around to me through my emails. And so I know if they're doing it to me, it's not like I'm like so special. They must, if you do it to one, you'll do it to all. If you do one thing once, you'll usually do it over and over and over. That's how it works. And so that's the reason why I've been sending investigators, because I know they didn't hide anything. They just didn't feel like they needed to. They thought that they were untouchable. No one would look into their shit. And they think all of their bullshit that they've used over and over and over works, and it doesn't work anymore. You know, they think it does, but in the end, they're deluded by their own bullshit. Isn't that what was written? You know, the Illuminati card game. That's the reason why you have a picture of the Twin Towers coming down. That's the reason why you have a picture of the Pentagon. That's the reason why you have a picture of Obama before Obama was popular. That's the reason why you have a picture of Hillary. That's the reason why you have a picture of Donald Trump. I will say, do you know the one person they don't have a picture for in that Illuminati card game? Kamala Harris. Which means they've started to lose control, because that wasn't even part of it. But if you go look, and it's easy to find, you can go into Google, type Illuminati card game, and look at the images. Just click on images. They have the whole card game online. You can look at everything. Do you want to know what I'm talking about? Illuminati card game, Twin Towers. Illuminati card game, Pentagon. Illuminati card game, Donald Trump. Illuminati card game, Hillary Clinton. Illuminati card game, Barack Obama. All of the images will come up. They're easily found. It's not like it's a secret. And you have to understand that card game was done in the 80s, but those pictures on those cards were done in 92. That's when that card deck came out. So how did they know about the Twin Towers and the Pentagon in 92? Unless they are better soothsayers than Nostradamus, because that would be the only other explanation. You know, it's like Simpsons. Simpsons are better than Nostradamus. They can just, you know, but even then, they're shit starting to fuck up for the first time ever. You know, all of their house of cards is already starting to burn, and the power that they once had, they don't have anymore. And all of their secrets, everything that's been hidden in the darkness and in the shadows, is being brought out into the light. That's how it's working. That's how it's supposed to work. That's how we were always told it was going to work. And that's what's happening. And they're fighting me, thinking that I'm the one who's behind it. And I didn't write the scriptures thousands and thousands of years ago. I don't have the abilities and power that they seem to want to attribute to me. You know, I'm not in control of shit. And I'm not working with anyone. They know that. I am alone. I don't really even have any communication with anybody, because they've gone out of their way to destroy that with everybody. You know, Owen was not the only person they targeted at that time. It's just that other people don't need to be mentioned, you know? But it doesn't make any difference, because I'm never alone. Shamanically, I'm never alone, you know? And I've had to live this way on and off my whole life. So it's not anything I'm not unused to, you know? So what do? I sew. I create. I watch television. Read. Usually shit online, you know? And just keep doing what I'm doing. These videos. I do these videos because, especially the live ones, get more views than the other ones. But I do what I am commanded to do. And like I said yesterday in the live video I did yesterday, Psalm 23. Although I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Because their shit, they just have no idea. If they had an ounce of sense, they'd be focused on themselves. If they had an ounce of sense, but they don't. They don't. And I doubt they will. They don't have time. They don't have time, because everything is happening. Fuck, again, the CME, the big one out of the 4 that we just got sent from the sun yesterday, could fry the power grids. Life could be changing drastically from what we know, even today, tomorrow, today, you know, nothing's guaranteed. And we live in unprecedented days. Things are happening now in a way that have never really happened this way before. And I don't know what to tell anybody. It's fill your hearts with love and love all you can. That's the only thing I can say. It's the only thing I've been able to say. Of anything that you can do, save yourselves, save your souls, fill your hearts with love. Because this group is fucked. They're fucked. And they'll dance around. I'm sure they'll do all kinds of shit, you know? But the fact remains, I have 100% of their attention. Just like I told them. No plausible deniability. The moment they take their last breath. 4 little words. I told you so. That's all I want them to remember in this whole thing. I told you so. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the live stream. I kind of like these live streams. I get to be myself, you know? It's hard for me to stay angry. A lot of the little videos that you guys see, it's generally I'm pissed off. So I do those videos so I can compartmentalize it, put it away so I can get away from, not being angry anymore. So it seems if you just watch those videos that I'm like an angry guy. But I never knew you. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. When they go to God, and I never knew you, or I did know you, but the whole thing about it is that in their ego, they think they're going to get an audience with God, with heaven, and that ain't gonna happen either. They take their last breath, they get claimed by the dark. It's not a court system. It's not like it is down here. There's no, arguing your case. There's no judgment is final. That's what, if you get judged and you find yourself in the darkness, consider yourself fucked, because you will be fucked. You will go to sleep and you will dream. And the whole atmosphere in the dark is all about nightmares. So you will go to sleep and be caught in nightmares. Fly or sink. That's exactly it. Do or not do. There is no try. You either fucking fill your hearts with love or you get claimed. We were told this a long time ago. I'm not saying anything that's new. I'm not saying anything that people don't already know. It's just that, and they are delusional. They are. They're caught up in their own egos. They're lovers of themselves. They're very self-satisfied. So they just, and they do all this evil shit. And for most of them, they feel powerful when they do it. They can't get away from it because that's the only power they have in their lives. And it's a lie, It's a lie. It not only does it not give you power, it drains you. It build your treasures in heaven. And doing a bunch of evil shit doesn't cut it. And so, but I'm at 1 hour and 28 minutes. And so I'm going to end this because I have shit I have to do today. And it's almost noon. And I have animals that want to be fed because they are fading away. They're just staring at me. They're fading away and they know that they're just fading away. So I hate that some of you have just come in, but I have to end this. And so I will have more videos and more lives. Check out my blog, davidshurter.com. For those who are compelled, who have the stuff, I'm always taking contributions. I'm trying to get fabric so I can start sewing again. And fabric is expensive. My PayPal and my Venmo are just Shurter. But I'm telling you, if I don't pay it for bills, I'm paying for fabric. I'm going to end up starting to sew. So those of you who are compelled to want to contribute, and pretty soon I'll have stuff to sell, to show people so I can sell it as well. So I will be showing that. That's why I did my little show and tell today, even though I did this to just donate it. So I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.